Can't wait for you to get this home. Write reviews for us.
I love that. All right, thank you, Chef. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Helen.
Awesome. Bye, Chef. All right, well, we've got more coming up for you, but we have a monthly special from Andrew Lessman. And then after that, I think Adam is going to take it away. He's going to take it away and have more shows for you live in the studio with Adam and Andrew Lessman. Stay tuned.
Hi everybody and happy Sunday. Welcome to HSN. We're excited to have you along for the ride tonight. A big show this evening, and it all starts with the pioneer, the amazing Andrew Lessman, who over 40 years ago, he set the standard, heavens no, he created the standard for the world's finest supplements and vitamins. A couple great today's specials to share with you. We're going to start out with Ultimate Eye Support. We were talking about how much we really put our eyes through in bright, harsh daylight, on our screens, on our phones, on our tablets. And Andrew, as you said last night, as the saying goes, our eyes are the windows to the soul, and we've got to look after them. We've got to invest in them.
Yes, and I just thought we had a special guest tonight.
Oh!
Truman, come here.
I
Are you gonna come
love
over
this.
here?
He's grown, Andrew.
This is Truman. He went from 6 pounds to probably 35 pounds. Can I have a high five? Thank you.
Oh my gosh, he's adorable. Oh
So,
my God, he's
so
amazing.
that's Shaggy Truman. So say hi, Truman. Okay,
Hi,
bye,
Truman.
So, but yes, as you were saying, we often hear that the eyes are the windows to the soul. And what I was saying about that the other night was that when we look in our eyes, that's when we can look at our retina. And when we look at our retina, we look at the concentration of optical pigment. If you want to know what optical pigment is, the graphic you see to the left, when it talks about lutein or zeaxanthin, actually that graphic only talks about astaxanthin, but normally the graphic talks about lutein and zeaxanthin. Those are the optical pigments. They are only available if we consume them in our diet. They are only available if we get them in a dietary supplement. That's the only two sources. They can't come from thin air. Our body cannot make them. So we need to get them either from things, unfortunately, we don't get in the typical American diet. Typical American diet gives a little over a gram of lutein and zeaxanthin every day. My supplement daily gives you 18 milligrams. The recommendations are that you get between 6 and 14 milligrams every day. So with Ultimate Eye, you're getting that perfect level, those perfect levels of lutein and zeaxanthin and mesozeaxanthin. And mesozeaxanthin is just as important as zeaxanthin. All three are critical. The research talks that each one on their own delivers the benefits you seek, but you really need to have all three to optimize your benefits. As Truman's wandering around the office here. Come here,
I
Truman.
saw his wagging
Can you
tail.
come up? Yep. No, he's got a big fluffy tail.
Oh my
and so as you can see, he has one blue eye, one brown eye. Are you gonna, Truman, what's over there? You're gonna, oh, you have your toy. Every little bow.
Perfect.
So that's Trumi. Right now he's about 10 months old. So he went from being 6 pounds to now he's more than 30 pounds, and he's quite the smart little dude. He's part Australian Shepherd and part poodle. So he doesn't shed, because I'm a little allergic to dogs and absolutely not allergic to this little guy. So just everybody's been requesting to see him. He didn't make it for the last several shows. So he's here. I'm sure everybody was more excited to see him than to see me. But
we know it's true.
That's that's what it's W.C. Fields who had said. He said a few things. I think one of the things he said: never work with animals or children. Here I am working, and then I think on it. Well, I won't say. I think it might be urban lore what he had written on his tombstone, but I'll leave that for people to do some research on the internet.
Oh, I need to look what that is now. Oh my gosh. Well, one thing that we know is written and is proven and is shown to be the case is that we have to look at what we're doing for our body, for our eyes. And we know from thousands of reviews over so many years what people talk about: sharpness, dryness, fatigue, adjustment. They talk about really feeling and seeing that difference. I want to go over the pricing because it is our today's special. Only one time a year that, you know, know, you get the opportunity to save the most amount of money, and we're proud to be able to offer this. So there's 4180, 360, or 720. That is the regular price, always competitive. Today, the pricing is the lowest it has ever been. For example, you can get 720 capsules for the same price that you'd normally spend on 360. That's $159.90, so mega, mega savings. The other option is if you want to go with Ultimate Eye Support Plus astaxanthin, which of course gives you extra benefits, not just eyes, brain, heart, immune system, and so much more. Andrew, when you start doing the math there, I mean, look at the 720 capsules down from $459. That's a huge saving and not really that much extra at all.
And what someone pointed out to me earlier today, typically when you buy vitamins, they come in a 30 count, a 60 count, a 90 count. If you look at either of those large sizes, and you did the math on what you were paying for a 30 count, what you were paying on either one of those, either the version with or without astaxanthin, obviously the version with astaxanthin today, to get 720 capsules of astaxanthin for $40 more is pretty amazing. What is that? That comes to pennies per capsule additional for the astaxanthin. But if you look at the math, if you do the math on a 30 capsule supply, you're talking about, for the standard Ultimate Eye, you're talking, I think, about $6 or $7 a 30 count bottle. And even if you're talking about the version with astaxanthin, I think it ends up being $8 or less per 30 count bottle. So it takes what has always been perhaps our most expensive product with our most expensive ingredients, lutein, zeaxanthin, mesozeaxanthin, astaxanthin, also the anthocyanins from bilberry and black elder. And the reason why you don't see these ingredients in typical products delivered appropriately, because to do it correctly is extremely expensive. But again, we reformulated this. We made it better 5 years ago, increased the potency, put it in a soft gel, because the lutein and zeaxanthin in their native forms are oils, so they go better into a soft gel rather than a beadlet that goes into a two-piece capsule. So we made the product higher potency, more effective, and less expensive. And I never thought 5 years later we'd still be able to offer it at the exact same price, especially when you hear about all of the things, all of the inflationary things that have gone on over the past 5 years, from COVID to tariffs, God knows what, that our price is still, and I'll say this not just for this product, but several products, the best the product price has ever been. And when it comes to our eye support product, my original eye support product, it dates back almost 40 years ago. And per capsule, you're getting a product that has ingredients that didn't even exist back then. And the value today is better than it's ever been. Truman just found one of his balls to play with. Truman, bring it up here. Can I have your ball? Oh, he'll only give me his ball if I give him a treat. Okay, here's a treat. Thank you.
He knows how
He's
to get
already
you.
smart.
He's got you around his little
Go
finger.
get your ball. Go get your ball.
Andrew, you had made mention last night, you showed a chart and it was going through, you know, what various foods give you. And one of the things that I forgot to point out was there's always the age-old belief that carrots are so good for you. Carrots help you see in the dark. One of the charts you showed had carrots at the bottom of the list, and that was astonishing to me.
What's interesting, vitamin A, and when we think about beta carotene or alpha carotene, those are the carotenoids that will be converted into vitamin A in the body. It's preformed vitamin A is something that an adult does not want to supplement. And it always troubles me when I see products that have preformed vitamin A in them. If you're going to be taking vitamin A, it should be either as natural beta carotene or natural alpha carotene. But vitamin A, yes, it has a role in the development of vision, but it doesn't come close to the role that lutein and zeaxanthin play in maintaining your vision, in protecting your eyesight, protecting your visual systems. It is the lutein and zeaxanthin are the absolute optical pigments in the eye. So again, it's sort of one of those old wives' tales, how critical vitamin A is to our vision. Yes, as children, vitamin A is critical to the development of the eye, development of the visual systems, development of our immune system. But as we sit here as adults, the most important carotenoids we could focus on are lutein and zeaxanthin, which are not rich in carrots. Lutein and zeaxanthin are rich in green leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, mustard greens, collard greens, even things like peas, even broccoli or asparagus. If it's green, it has lutein and zeaxanthin. Typically, even if it's yellow, it will have lutein and zeaxanthin. That's why pea soup has always been one of my favorite soups, because peas are rich in lutein. Zeaxanthin's a little bit more difficult, if you recall from that chart. Even we have it right here. This shows you the comprehensive nature of the formula. 12,000 micrograms of lutein, 6,000 micrograms of zeaxanthin. And so I now have a dog that wants to be playing with his ball. and also the astaxanthin. And again, the astaxanthin, for only $40 more, you're getting the 4,000 micrograms per day of astaxanthin. And then, of course, we have our bilberry, citrus bioflavonoids, our green tea extract standardized for EGCG, our black elder extract, our grapeseed extract standardized for polyphenols, and oligomeric proanthocyanidins. And then the next ingredients, those are the original eye support from almost 40 years ago: vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, and copper. Now, they all take a distant back seat to the lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin, bilberry, citrus bioflavonoids. And by the way, the vitamin A, C, E, zinc, and copper, that represents probably less than 5% of the cost of the formula, probably about 3 or 4%. That's why other companies deliver those in abundance. The real cost of the formula, the real benefit from the formula, arise from the lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin, and the anthocyanins contained in the berries.
Well, and Andrew, they are letting me know that obviously as we come to the end of this presentation, this is the end of the day nearly, and this is last call, last chance to be able to get Ultimate Eye Support. It's a big Today special for us. It's one of our really most popular Today specials that Andrew brings us every single year. They're all important, but there's so many of us that stock up every single year and never want to be without it. Price-wise, there is one leader that's really, you know, I suppose, setting the standard as it is tonight, and that is the 720 count on the version with astaxanthin. It's only a little bit extra, so for those extra few pennies a day, you're getting an unbelievably potent and comprehensive formula. You are doing so much for your body, for your eyes. And Andrew, you gave an incredible statistic last night. You said, and I don't want to misquote, you said just taking one of these per week, I believe, is more than, well, I'll let you finish the sentence.
Well, taking one per week, for the typical American diet, just taking one capsule of Ultimate Eye per week will double the typical levels of carotenoids that we receive in our diet.
Wow.
We receive a little more than of lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin. We receive a little bit more than a milligram of those ingredients in the typical American diet per day. So over the course of a week, probably 7 to 10 milligrams. By taking that one capsule, you basically double the quantity that you would have had. So again, we see Truman in the background there. But Truman, did you hear him? Shumi, come here, buddy, come up. So, and anyway, sorry, we should be talking about the product. Can you give me a high five? Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, you're such a good puppy. Yep.
Oh my gosh,
so
we love
he's
it.
a great guy. So it was, yeah, a year ago that unfortunately I lost Lincoln, and there's only one way to fill the heart that's left empty by the loss of our favorite furry friends, and that's by finding a new favorite furry friend. It doesn't diminish in any way the memory or the importance of the significance of the prior. All it does is remind you of how special that part of our heart is, and that we should always try to keep that part of our heart open, which is what Truman's job is now doing in the background. He's laying on his bed there. But again, when we talk about lutein, zeaxanthin, the optical pigments, it's really important to note these are not ingredients. The folks who sell these products and make it sound like they're a treatment for age-related macular degeneration or a treatment for cataracts or other kinds of visual problems, visual diseases or symptoms of those diseases. It's a disservice to the product because lutein and zeaxanthin, it's, as I said earlier today, calcium is a critical part of our bone. Lutein and zeaxanthin, it is the very definition of the optical pigments in the retina of our eye. So to diminish them by somehow making them seem like drug components rather than looking at them as the actual structural and functional components of our eyes that enhance the sharpness of our vision, the clarity of our vision, the contrast of our vision. The world around us is beautiful, and lutein and zeaxanthin allow us to see it in its fullest and truest beauty and allows us to do so most effectively as we age. So it really is an opportunity. Unfortunately, Mother Nature isn't perfect. So the really wonderful sources of lutein and zeaxanthin, they don't taste good. We don't eat them. So she's almost perfect. She makes sure there is an abundant source of lutein and zeaxanthin in the world around us. We just don't want to eat them. So I guess it's back up to that whole thing about human free will. That's where the problems start. We don't necessarily exercise our free will in the most intelligent of fashions. And when it comes to protecting our eyes, it's as simple as a couple of seconds a day. Even if you just took one capsule every other day, you're multiplying the levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in your diet by just taking a capsule every other day. And that's pennies a day.
I think there's a couple things that come to light. And, you know, one, as Andrew was playing with Truman just then, and we were talking about, you know, life and how precious it is, we obviously want to, you know, preserve and look after, you know, those that we love, ourselves, for our family. And we know our eyes are so important, right? Every part of our body is important, but we know our eyes, as Andrew said, allow us to see all the beauty in the world. This is a product that's designed to help protect and support our eyes in every possible sense. I also think it's really important that as we stand here on this Sunday in May of 2025, we think back to maybe all the years that you've watched HSN and all the wonderful celebrities that you've seen and all the incredible products that you've, you know, not only been seen showcased, but you've been part of and that you've loved, all the amazing brands that you've, you know, maybe purchased in the past. You do realize, and sometimes I have to pinch myself, and I'm sure Andrew does, we are stood here today with a product that has been on the airwaves for decades. Very few products on HSN or our sister channel QVC can say the same. And to be able to make that statement is the ultimate testimonial. Why is it still here? Why are we still selling thousands and thousands and thousands every year? Because it works. And for those of us that have it, try it, test it, use it, love it, we want to continue our journey with it because it makes a difference when we go to the eye doctor. It makes a difference when we get out of bed on a morning. It makes a difference when we open our eyes and feel that they're a little sharper. We feel that they're adjusting faster. We feel that we see better. And that's what so many of you say in these reviews. So for all of this that Andrew and I are sharing tonight, and Truman, we want to make sure that you understand the history. Because to understand the history is to understand how important this product is. If you buy it today, you're getting the best pricing in history. So never have we been here with a more compelling argument. We've got all these amazing benefits all bundled up in the most potent formula Andrew's ever created, and the price tag attached is the lowest price ever, the biggest value for money. One thing to say a low price, it's even better to say the biggest value for money, and it really is. 720 capsules would cost $459. We are today at $199. That's under $200. That's the most popular choice. We still have other today's specials to get to. Andrew, we have T-minus 10 minutes left. But I just think it's important to really highlight how big a deal this product is.
No, I wish I had hours to talk about this. It's that important. And again, I say this over and over and over with all my products. As much, we are the manufacturer. 90+% of the products on the market, a contract manufacturer makes it for the person who's talking about it or the company that's selling it. They're just marketing companies. So we are truly invested in making the best product in the world. But what's most important to me is that you understand the role that lutein and zeaxanthin play in your visual system, that they are the optical pigments that are very defining of it's called the macula lutea, the most important part of your retina, the macular region. It's the macula lutea, which in Latin means yellow spot. It's a yellow spot because of lutein and zeaxanthin. So these are defining the functioning of the eye, the optimal functioning of your eye. If you're not getting them in your diet, which most of us are not, it's consequential. That's an issue. That's a problem. What also has happened, originally when I first included lutein and zeaxanthin in my product decades before anyone else, we're probably talking over 30 years ago, originally when we did that, every time I would do a show, I'd see the research on lutein and zeaxanthin. And probably 95, 98% of that research was on lutein and zeaxanthin and its impact on the eye. Now, I'd say a good third of the research, sometimes up to a half of the research, is on the impact of lutein and zeaxanthin on the brain. So if in the past you've been getting my product and loving the benefits you're getting for your vision and for your eyes, why it gets so many great reviews, it doesn't matter. You're still getting the benefits for your brain. You get all of the benefits. It's not like there's side effects you need to worry about. When you get this for the one benefit that Mother Nature provides, that our blueprint provides, you're getting all of those other benefits. So you don't have to get my product. You just need to get a product that's rich in lutein, rich in zeaxanthin, and mesozeaxanthin also provides the anthocyanins to protect all of the vascular systems of your eye, the night vision. So again, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to make a difference in a quality of ours, a sense of ours that's defining of our quality of life. And as I said before, part of the reason why lutein and zeaxanthin are observed, their concentrations in the eye, their concentrations in the brain, is directly related to our retaining optimum cognitive function, memory, concentration, mental acuity as we age. It's kind of not surprising. We even know that if you say have hearing impairment and you don't do anything about it, say you don't get a hearing aid, that eventually can result in cognitive impairment. That we want to protect all of the sensory inputs to our brain because that protects our brain. So when we're making sure we give our eyes something they critically need to maintain the sharpness of vision, visual acuity, contrast, all the things that are the attributes of healthy vision, we are also protecting a healthy brain. So you don't have to get mine. I know that probably 95% of the folks who might be watching, they'll maybe get something out in a supermarket, discount store, look for natural lutein, natural zeaxanthin, also mesozeaxanthin. And if you're doing that, at least you're going to be doing something wonderful to your body. You won't be a product that's the equal of mine, but the most important thing is that you're giving your eyes, your brain, the visual systems in your eyes, the lutein and zeaxanthin that are defining of their optical system, that are part of how they function. Again, we can't think of our bones functioning without calcium, and Truman just wants me to keep playing with him and his ball. And we can't think of healthy vision without thinking about the role that lutein, zeaxanthin, mesozeaxanthin, and astaxanthin play in protecting and maintaining and just being an actual functional component of that healthy vision. Even, by the way, even in young people, visual processing speed improves with optimum levels of lutein and zeaxanthin. So it's not just when we get older, but even in young people.
I just love that Andrew is able to make things easy. And I know so many of you feel the same way, that when I see a product with Andrew's face on it, when I see a product with Andrew's branding on it, ProCaps, you just know it's the best in the world. You know, you cannot buy better. You know, everything is there for a reason, backed by science and research, not hype and pizzazz. It's the real deal, folks. And what's joyful about this is that you're able to get it home and try it. You have our 30-day return policy. Many of the folks' reviews that you'll read talk about seeing that difference, certainly, feeling that difference. So this isn't something that you have to wait around to experience the benefits of. The story is always compelling because we all appreciate it. There's no argument there. We know we have to look after our eyes. But I think in 2025, it's just more apparent than ever. I'm sure many of you at home, whether it's you, a loved one, a significant other, the children, the grandkids, we are on our devices so much, on our phones so much. I mean, hours and hours and hours a day. And Andrew, you know, 20 years ago, that was not the case. So the argument for supporting our eyes has only gotten stronger as technology has evolved.
No, it went without saying 20, 30 years ago. Now, with all the different screens we're looking at, we all are looking at them, staring at them hours a day. The blue light, the light that comes from those screens is potentially damaging to the tissues of our eye. And again, just that close focal distance where we spend an inordinate amount of time looking at something too close, and then we struggle even to focus on something distant. It's our eyes are begging for natural support, the natural support that lutein and zeaxanthin. And initially, when I first spoke about these ingredients, we really just looked at them as sort of that kind of short-term protection for long-term benefits from high-energy radiation. We now know that short-term benefit, more clear vision, better glare protection. So when you're driving at the end of the day, just for safety reasons, when you're driving at the end of the day or early in the morning when the sun is low in the sky, when you go in from, say, it's bright outside and you go inside and it's dark, or vice versa, it could be a little difficult if you're going down a flight of stairs to really be able to see exactly what you're stepping into when you go from a dark space into a light space, or vice versa. So it's all about healthy vision. It's all about seeing the world around us better, and it's all about having safer vision. Night driving, for a lot of us, that becomes difficult as we get older, or impossible. We have dozens and dozens of reviews that speak exactly to that point. So again, you don't have to get mine. The magic words are lutein, zeaxanthin, mesozeaxanthin. I don't make the magic words. That design long preceded me. They're magic words because they are the optical pigments that are defining of the protective and functional aspects of our retina, of our vision. So if you cherish healthy vision, you need to shift your diet around so you're getting access to those ingredients, green leafy vegetables, purple fruits like bilberries, blueberries, things like that. Even red cabbage gives you anthocyanins. Those nutrients are not readily available from the typical American diet. And as I said, this is such a high potency product that even if you just take 1 or 2 capsules a week, you're multiplying the levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in your diet. So this will fit into any budget, meaning that it could just be pennies a week, not just pennies a day. And Truman is desperate for me to throw the ball for him. As you can see, he's...
Well, that's perfect. He won't let it go now.
I'll leave it to you.
Going to take your hand with him. Guys, I do want to say as well, we are coming to the end of it. So this is it for another year. So it's important that we offer the best value. We're obviously proud of these big days that we have, but it's going to be this time in 2026 when you see this again at this price.
And by the way, what I should tell everyone, and that even until, Lincoln lived over 16 years, and even till the end, he still had his hearing was not great, but his vision was still very good. But I always made a point of making sure we put some green veggie, a little bit of green veggie paste in his food. And what I'm doing for Truman is I take a capsule of Ultimate Eye, and twice a week, I squeeze about half that capsule into his food. It's kind of funny colored, but it has no taste. And it's just giving him the lutein, the zeaxanthin, the anthocyanins, those protective compounds. So again, I don't make a pet eye product yet. We will in the future, but that's a way that you can share the benefits with your furry friends of the incredibly important components for their visual systems, just as they're incredibly important for our own.
As we wrap up this today's special reminder of pricing, you can choose the original Ultimate Eye Support, which is 40 through 720 capsules. That's a special size. That's not normally offered. Discounted today, you can see from $299.90 to $159.90. Lowest pricing ever on the product. Free shipping and flex pay. The #1 seller, though, is the option with astaxanthin that is only a little bit extra, but gives you, of course, the benefits of astaxanthin, and that's saving you $259.90. Andrew, any final words on this one?
Just the thing that I really haven't emphasized, we have so many scientific charts here. I'm going to do a video posted on social media for a lot of the products and going through the scientific charts that I never have time to effectively do so, and just sharing that information. But as critical, as important, as vital and essential as lutein and zeaxanthin are for the visual system, it is now absolutely crystal clear that they're equally critical for our brain. And that those of us, and I have a chart that shows that, but for those, I won't put it up quickly, it'll take too long. But for those of us who have adequate levels of lutein and zeaxanthin throughout our lifetime, we have an opportunity for better cognitive functioning as we age. If you look at the levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in elderly folks with cognitive impairment, it's lower than the levels of lutein and zeaxanthin with healthy cognitive function in elderly folks. So I know where I want to be as I age, and that's why I make sure I get adequate levels of lutein and zeaxanthin every day in terms of my vision and in terms of my brain, memory, cognitive function.
Well, that's the perfect segue, because we do want to spend a moment or so just on one other item, which is something Andrew created a few years ago. It's Maximum L&Z. As you can certainly take note of, lutein and zeaxanthin is a really big deal. It's important we understand it. This is that optimum booster product, Andrew, that you created. We're offering it tonight as a today's special. You can even get that largest size for under $100.
Well, the maximum L plus Z, maximum lutein plus zeaxanthin, it resulted from my visit to my ophthalmologist when I was getting a checkup. And I recommend at least once a year, get a checkup. It's so easy for them to look at your retina, check the pressure of your eyes to make sure that you're not at risk of any issues like glaucoma, things like that. Just something that we should do on a regular basis. And Max L plus Z, our Ultimate Eye is a very comprehensive formula. I showed you the chart earlier with more than a dozen ingredients. Max L plus Z, just as the name implies, it is just L plus Z. And what you're looking at there, that is pure lutein and zeaxanthin. We also have a product, Max L plus Z plus A. I wasn't sure if we have that available on this visit. Hopefully we do. That's lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin. Hopefully we have that at special pricing as well. I would imagine we do.
Yes.
But lutein and zeaxanthin, again, you're getting the lutein, the zeaxanthin, the mesozeaxanthin. You're getting all three of them in the highest concentration that we have available. And the reason I developed this product, some folks kind of look at with omega-3s, 500 milligrams tends to be the perfect dose of omega-3s for most folks. But some cardiologists, some neurologists, some ophthalmologists will recommend that folks take 1,000 milligrams of omega-3s if they have certain issues. The same with lutein and zeaxanthin. If you have certain issues, family history, whatever it might be, your doctor might recommend that you take higher levels of lutein and zeaxanthin. Typically, that's 24 and 12. So this capsule perfectly doubles the levels from Ultimate Eye, and you end up with 24 milligrams of lutein and 12 milligrams of zeaxanthin. So this is, and for a lot of folks who do the other things they believe correctly, they don't need all the other ingredients in the comprehensive Ultimate Eye. This is a perfect foundation eye product, giving you the two most critical ingredients for eye health, lutein and zeaxanthin, in their most affordable way possible.
Well, as we move on from those today's specials to our final today's special, it's a really huge day because we've got the big launch, the premiere of Andrew's brand new Type 2 secure meal replacement bars. So many of you have asked Andrew to do this, and it is here today with only 1 gram of sugar per bar and 0 added sugar, always gluten-free, dairy-free, plant-based, non-GMO. These are the most delicious bars you will ever try. And whether it's a snack on the go, or you're missing breakfast, or you're on a weight loss mission, these are the most delicious bars you will ever try. They are not dry, they're moist, and they are just nice to look forward to because they satisfy you. I'll go through the pricing and then we'll share all the details of something that's been a while in the making. We're offering tonight the opportunity to get it at today's special pricing for as little as $1.66, as little as $1.66 per bar, or per meal as it were, for that largest size. So there's 12 bars, 24 bars, or 36 bars. If you choose the 24 bars, you can choose all of one flavor or a combination of 2. If you choose the 36, you can do all one flavor or the combination of 3. Peanut butter chocolate chip, chocolate brownie almond crunch, or coconut almond cookie crunch. The flavors are a big story, but Andrew, these are the brand new Type 2.
Well, this is, I owe a thank you to my, my very large product development team. We have an internal product development team at our company, but the very large product development team are all the folks out there that when I introduced my bars a few years ago, that have just, they only have 4 grams of sugar, our current secure bars. The Type 2 bar was specifically designed and made in response to hundreds, if not thousands, of requests for a bar with 0 grams added sugar. And frankly, looking out at the market for bars for a meal replacement that has full nutrition, it has 50 to 200% of the RDA of all key vitamins, also has key minerals at substantial levels like calcium and magnesium. But to think that this is as comprehensive a nutrition as this bar is, and we have succeeded in creating a product with 0 grams added sugar, and even more than that, 1 gram total sugar. So the traces of sugar in the peanuts in the peanut bar, in the almonds in the chocolate almond or the coconut almond, it's the traces of sugar in those nuts that even gives it the 1 gram of sugar per bar. So it's incredibly efficient. I periodically, recently have been wearing a continuous glucose monitor just for well-being, just to see how things affect what I eat. And I know a number of folks who reviewed this product already had been wearing a continuous glucose monitor. And when a product is well designed, 0 grams added sugar, 1 gram total sugar that's just sort of hidden away in the nuts, and even the carbohydrate that we specially select for this product are slow digesting carbohydrate to eliminate any kind of spike or peak. And as you can see, these look like real food bars because they contain real food. So the bottom one there is the peanut. That's obviously the chocolate brownie. And you could see the almonds in the chocolate brownie. You can see the peanuts in the chocolate chips. My favorite in the standard bar is chocolate. My favorite in the type 2 bars, bar none, is the one you just took a bite of, Adam. It's the peanut. I mean, my favorite in that bar, it's just unbelievable. And I'm not a big fan of peanut butter or peanuts, but that bar, it almost tastes like yummy, salty peanuts, even though the levels of salt in our bars are sufficient to be low sodium. So I'm not sure why it tastes that good, but it's unbelievable. So again, if you're one of those folks who criticized my design of the original bar and encouraged me to go back to work and make a bar that tastes just as good, or even many of you said it doesn't have to taste as good, but just make it 0 grams added sugar if you can. And even now, when I was just at a local drugstore here and looked at some of the bars and meal replacement kind of drinks and beverages they had for folks who are watching sugar intake, might be type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetic or things like that. And they still contain some sugar, some added sugar. So I think the accomplishment we have here, unbeknownst to me, perhaps no one else has succeeded in creating a full meal replacement, high levels of vitamins and minerals, a great amount of protein, the highest quality protein for supporting your weight management. Also, 0 grams added sugar, 1 gram total sugar, and carbohydrates that are slow and low, which are the way we want to deliver them. So there's nothing like this. I think you'll be thrilled. And if you're like so many folks out there who now have access and wear a continuous glucose monitor, share your experience with this bar. I think you'll be blown away. And it's really impressive to see when something is designed correctly, how well it works for our body. And when it comes to our blood sugar management, what we put in determines what's going to come out. And if you put in too much sugar, insulin is going to be elevated, and then there's all the issues that ensue. So this is a product that's designed to meet the requests of doctors who are instructing their patients to reduce their sugar intake. And again, as I've often said, the problem with weight gain in America, it's not this simple concept of ultra-processed food. I could create ultra-processed food, which is healthy, low in calories, not calorically dense, rich in nutrition. That wouldn't be a problem. The problem are foods that are ultra-palatable, just this ultra-palatable, they taste so delicious, right, and then ultra-calorically dense and not nutritionally dense. So the foods that taste too good to be true, that are too high in calories to be true, that's the problem with weight gain. Not simply a processed food, but a food that's not going to be nutritionally dense, a food that instead is going to be calorically dense, dense in sugar, dense in calories. That's where the problems ensue.
And I think the real accomplishment here is that with 0 added sugar and only 1 gram of sugar or so, the flavor if not as good as, it's better than the original. So there's no compromise or sacrifice on flavor, which is what I was really excited to discover. And I think you're gonna be thrilled when you get these home and try them. There's a couple of points that I do wanna stress since we only have 7 minutes left. This is it for the summer. So there's no more chances to get this until into the fall, because we don't ship food typically during the summertime. Obviously, it's harder to ship food when it's boiling hot outside. We want it to be received by you in perfect condition. So if you know you are going to be on a weight loss mission, or honestly, and I say this with all sincerity, a bar like this is just so good. You're having a working lunch. It's for the kids because they miss breakfast. You're going on an airplane, you're heading through the airport, you never know what to eat, it's always junk food. Take this with you. Have it in the car, have it in your purse, have it in the drawer in the office. When you want to eat something that's good for you, fills you up, satisfies you, and tastes good, this checks every one of those boxes. The only disadvantage Andrew and I have is that you're not with us and you're not able to take a big bite out of this, because I know if you did, you'd love it. The only decision you have to make is this: peanut butter chocolate chip, right? Sounds delicious, it is. Chocolate brownie almond crunch, or coconut almond cookie crunch. They're all winners, Andrew.
And again, when it comes to the type 2 bar, much to my surprise, and they're both using similar flavor systems, but the peanut butter, when it comes to this type 2 bar, it's just incredible. And I think what kind of puts it over the top for me, I told you it had sort of a salty flavor, even though it's low in sodium, but the chocolate chips, the actual pieces of peanuts and the dark chocolate chips, and as I'm saying this, of course, I'm salivating. But, and again, to succeed as we have succeeded with these at 0 grams added sugar. I mean, I'm not the first to say this, that pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes in this country is an absolute epidemic. We're talking tens of millions of people. And again, this is not a treatment or a prevention for anything like that, but what it is, it's a food designed around the recommendations to reduce our intake of simple sugar. And that's what we've accomplished here. We've reduced the levels of simple sugar in here. No, there's zero added sugar, only 1 gram total sugar in a bar. And that's because there's traces of sugar even in peanuts and almonds and things like that. So it's quite an accomplishment. As you can tell, we introduced these bars, originally our secure bars, over 3 years ago. So it took us quite a while to accomplish this. This was not easy to do. And also, at our company, we tested these over and over and over, probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trials. The type 2 bars win over the standard secure bars. So it's quite an accomplishment. And the real hands down winner has been the peanut butter. And I'm a perfect proof of that. That's the one, that's my favorite. The coconut almond cookie crunch is amazing as well. And of course, the chocolate brownie almond is just amazing. And again, what's amazing, 140 calories. We moved the fiber, because we use real fiber, to a lower level, because we found at higher levels, it was perhaps the single richest fiber-containing meal someone was having. So we lowered the fiber down from 6 to 4, but you're getting 4 grams of great natural fiber in 140 calories. The protein, we don't want it to be too high in protein, but we wanted it to be a good, solid amount of protein for a meal or a snack. So you get 7 grams of protein, a complete protein. So again, and then you get 50% to 200% of the RDA of all key vitamins. There are multivitamins that don't deliver that. Right. And all the leading multivitamins don't have the perfect form of B12 that we use and the perfect form of folate that we use. So we don't even cut corners on the vitamins. This is truly like the most sophisticated multivitamin wrapped up into a meal replacement, which, by the way, it's not a meal replacement if it doesn't contain vitamins, minerals. It's just either a candy bar or a snack bar or maybe a protein bar. So this really checks all the boxes, delivering all the things that you want.
And there's even biotin in here as well. I mean, the list of ingredients is incredible. We're very, very busy. Andrew, can I quickly ask you one question about something you said?
Sure.
You know, you just made reference to the fiber and you said, you know, it's real fiber in here. What's the alternative to that? Just so I know in future, you know, do other people use not real fiber?
Well, when we say, for instance, a lot of the fiber drinks you see on the market are fiber mucil, is psyllium husk fiber. But a lot of times what they do is they process fiber so that the fiber becomes water soluble, so that the fiber becomes, say, soluble in your mouth, so it doesn't have the unpleasant characteristics that fiber can have. So we haven't done that. We've made sure that you're getting all of the benefits of the fiber. In fact, the fiber that we use will be wonderfully nourishing to your microbiome. Because remember, the friendly flora, those organisms that outnumber the cells in our body that live in our colon and our digestive system, they love fiber more than anything. So the fact that the American diet is a bit deficient in fiber, not a bit, it's highly deficient in fiber, I thought it was important that when we put fiber in this product, that we target the fiber that nourishes your microbiome. So that way, you don't just benefit from the standpoint of regularity, which, yes, is important with fiber, but the biggest benefit from fiber are the benefits it delivers to your microbiome. You make sure that we're delivering prebiotic fiber that feeds those probiotic organisms. So that was a really great question. So we even went further, making our bar kind of a prebiotic bar, not just a meal replacement, not just vitamins and minerals, not just the protein, but also giving you the prebiotic components that are necessary to nourish our microbiome, those probiotic organisms.
You see, it all matters, and that's why information is powerful, right? It's so key that we get to understand this, and that's why we love having Andrew here to be this resource, so we understand what we're buying, and we understand why it is the best in the world. Final opportunity before it goes away until the fall. So this really is your chance. Let's go over the pricing. You can choose, obviously, the 3 different bar counts. So we've got our 12 bars, there's a 24 or 36 bars. If you don't know what flavor to buy, I want to recommend the 36 bars, and then you can choose one of each flavor. And that way you get to sample it and try them all. It's $59.90. That breaks down to about $1.66 a bar, which is really an amazing value.
Yep, it's actually just over $1.50 per bar, so it really is an incredible value, incredible savings, and I think it's, again, unlike typical stores, if you don't like this, you just put it in the same, seal up the same box and ship it back, and it will have nothing ventured, nothing gained, but it's a great opportunity to try something unlike anything else on the market.
That's the joy of HSN and how you can always feel confident about shopping with Andrew and I here. We're going to move along to a monthly special. It doesn't matter what day of the week or what month of the year, I never ever miss my daily CoQ10. So many of you I know are the same way. This is coenzyme Q10 with free vitamin D3 2000. We're going to talk about that. Andrew, a million reasons to help support our body with CoQ10, and really a story that has just grown in popularity all over the country and all over the world. Everybody's talking CoQ10.
And CoQ10 is an ingredient that I introduced, and I talk about this often, back in 1984. It originally was on HSN back in the mid-90s, long before anyone else was contemplating or seeing it at retail stores. Now you can hardly go into a retail store. You can't go into a supermarket or a pharmacy discount store without seeing CoQ10. And CoQ10 is something that when I initially introduced it, it was not without criticism from other folks in the industry. It's sort of interesting how an ingredient that, if they did the research, was so essential to the metabolism, the energy metabolism that goes on in every cell, one would have to be ignorant of cellular metabolism to think that it wasn't an important critical ingredient, especially even going back 40 years, the research was abundant saying that CoQ10 levels decline with age, CoQ10 levels decline with any of our bad habits. So the human experience is all about reducing levels of CoQ10. And if you look at CoQ10's activities, behavior, role in our body, it's as important or more important than any vitamin. The only vitamin that might have a good competition with CoQ10 would be vitamin D. And vitamin D, of course, when you get this CoQ10, it's free. You could get the CoQ10 200, same exact price, or you can get the CoQ10 200 with 2000 IU vitamin D3, same exact price. So when you're looking at CoQ10, and I was talking about earlier today, there's a lot of hype online. There's a lot of hype at places you could get IVs for NAD, or whether it's NAD or NMN or NR. It's nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, nicotinamide riboside, nicotinamide mononucleotide. It all relates to something that transports electrons in cellular metabolism. And just as CoQ10 is involved with moving electrons in cellular metabolism, the one thing I haven't observed in the research is that levels of NAD or NMN or NR play a material role in an inability to produce energy, meaning that they're not rate limiting. That the levels of NAD, NMN, or NR are not changing your body's ability to produce energy. However, if you look at research on CoQ10, you could look at levels of CoQ10 affecting cardiac function, affecting the functioning of key systems, tissues in our body, skeletal muscle. So the research on CoQ10 probably outdoes the research on NMN, NR, or NAD, probably by orders of magnitude. That's significantly. And people would probably wonder, I've been making supplements for 46 years. We make all our own supplements. Why haven't I, after a decade or more of seeing NMN and NR and NAD, why haven't I made that supplement? I'm just not convinced. And as I said earlier, if I made one, it would never be a standalone product. I'd combine it with CoQ10. So at least then it would have a reason to exist. The science certainly doesn't say that NAD or NMN or NR aren't beneficial, but I'm just not convinced that they're harmful, rather. I'm just not convinced that it's going to be significantly beneficial. And the one thing, they are multiple times more expensive than CoQ10. You'd have to take several hundred milligrams a day of those ingredients, and it'll cost multiple times more than a CoQ10 product. So again, CoQ10 is the easiest, the most direct, the most straightforward way to affect energy production on a cellular level. And I think in terms of longevity, life extension, I think it's an ingredient that also has the greatest potential to deliver that in a meaningful way. If you look at the research, and there's an abundance of research on CoQ10 that is virtually absent on NAD, NMN, or NR. Before those, I'd sooner reach for alpha lipoic acid. I'd sooner focus on CoQ10 and alpha lipoic acid before I would focus on NMN, NAD, or NR. So hopefully I didn't digress into something, but I've just seen numbers of questions asked about those ingredients and why I haven't made a product, and I have no plans of making a product containing them.
And listen, it's good to know. Again, Andrew won't do anything until he knows 100% that it's the right thing to do. Talking of right things to do, just to be clear, if you order CoQ10 tonight, for free, it is blended with vitamin D3 2000. So that's a major added value at no extra cost. So you're getting the benefits of coenzyme Q10, the best in the world, with vitamin D3, and we know how important it is to supplement that. You can go 360 capsules for as little as $129.90, saving more than you're spending. Before we wrap up tonight, we have to talk about efficiency, the reinvention of the vitamin C drink. Vitamin C drink with no calories, no sugar, no carbohydrates, no clumps, no residue, mixes easily. Whether you're looking to hydrate more, and this makes water taste great, or whether you're looking just to support your body and your immune system, I drink one of these every single day. My wife drinks one of these every single day. She mixes it with Andrew's marine collagen. Andrew, you mentioned a story last night of how it was a gentleman who did the other vitamin C product that inspired you to do this.
Well, the original vitamin C drink, if you think back to the 1970s, was quite a brilliant invention. And that original vitamin C drink, I was introduced to the owner, founder of that company. He is no longer with us. He was probably, when I met him back in the 1970s, probably older than I am today. And as I said earlier today, charming, delightful person who encouraged me. The vitamin industry was really basically nothing at that time, a fledgling industry, encouraged me, given my science background, that I get involved in the industry, that the industry needed folks like me. I also had the privilege of meeting Linus Pauling, who was a strong advocate for vitamin C. They definitely influenced my path. And so I thought it would be, it's a worthy project of us to create a vitamin C drink that I thought updated the original. It's not carbonated. In the cranberry pomegranate, which is my favorite of our flavors, because in it, our standard cranberry product just acted as a wonderful flavor. So you get a full capsule of cranberry with each beverage and deduct that from the cost. And our cranberry product is amazing. I think it's rated 4.8 stars. So you get an actual capsules of cranberry, a capsule of cranberry dissolved into each packet, full 500 milligrams of non-acidic vitamin C, mineral ascorbate C, B12 in its proper form, folic acid in its proper form. If you look at unfortunately, the other vitamin C drink hasn't really changed much since the 1970s, unfortunately. So they're now, products like that are now owned by very big companies. A lot of them are owned by like pharmaceutical companies and things like that. I'm probably among the only companies that was founded in the 1970s that is still owned by its founder and still doing business and following the ethic. We're 100% pure, additive free. Our products are all made using solar energy. The ethics and integrity of a crazy founder who had principles that went beyond just chasing after profits, but really wanted to make products that were unique and different. That's why I introduced CoQ10 decades before anyone else, diosmin, lutein, zeaxanthin decades before anyone else, because I've been chasing after the science and trying to deliver the benefits that the science promises to you in a fashion that respects your body, pure, additive-free, using solar energy. And that's just a different, a unique approach that no one else in this industry, unfortunately, is taking anymore.
I can't stress enough, if you have one of these every day, and again, they come in these fabulous little packets, you can take them with you in your purse, take them anywhere, you just literally mix it with water, you just saw how quickly it dissolves, no clumps, no residue, you just feel so good, because it's a healthy drink, it's a healthy choice. And Andrew, I do find that hydration, we're educated to know that we've got to hydrate, and a lot of us are not drinking enough water. This makes water taste better, and it makes it taste so delicious that you look forward to having another glass.
No, my mom tells me, among other things, I constantly lecture her about hydration, that as we get older, both men and women, we could have bladder issues. One of the easiest ways to really help our body handle bladder issues is just making sure we're adequately hydrated. Cranberry is also a wonderful support for urinary tract health, but being adequately hydrated, and if this makes hydration more delicious, fantastic, because guess what? What we also did from that original drink, we eliminated the sugar. I think that original drink has something somewhere in the neighborhood of 8-10 grams of sugar. It's probably 35 or 40 calories. So there's no sugar, there's no carbs, there's no calories. So you're just getting the benefits of cranberry, the benefits of the anthocyanins that give it the rich color. Anthocyanins are those protective compounds in berries. So rather than use an artificial color like red 40, which, by the way, it's good they're getting rid of artificial colors in this country. Yes. I've been talking about them in vitamins, but it's not as big a deal as everyone is pretending it is. And it's not as if those colors are illegal in Europe. Those colors are mostly legal in Europe, and some other ones are actually legal in Europe that aren't legal here. So the story is a little funny, but the fact is, and no one should seem to be an advocate for removing them more than me, because I've been talking about them being present in multivitamins for 46 years. But that's not even the really good stuff to start looking at removing from our diet, but I guess it's a start. But of course, we use the anthocyanins from berries to not only create a beautiful color, but to give you the protective benefits of those healthy berries.
Astonishingly, our hour is coming to an end. Before we wrap up, though, a reminder of our really huge Today special with Ultimate Eye Support. You can choose it with or without astaxanthin. Thousands and thousands of you today have said, yes, I want to get it. A product that has done so much for so many over so many years. Andrew, closing thoughts on Ultimate Eye.
Well, whether you want to protect your eyes, whether you want to protect the visual system, whether you want to protect your brain, your quality of life, a very simple investment. As I said, 1 or 2 capsules a day is perfect. but 1 or 2 capsules a week still multiplies the levels of these critical compounds that you get based upon a typical diet.
And then, Andrew, we wanted to make mention of the other option that you'd made reference to, right? Which was with astaxanthin and lutein and zeaxanthin.
The max L plus Z plus A. So that gives you an opportunity to get lutein, zeaxanthin, mesozeaxanthin, and astaxanthin. That's the super concentrated booster if you want to get that. So that's something I didn't mention at all today. So that's also available, as is the max L plus Z alone. So all of these products, none of them will be a mistake. And even if you're taking just 1 or 2 capsules or 3 capsules a week, it still makes a profound difference because they're so high potency. It will make your budget go a long way. So you'll end up spending pennies a week and multiplying the levels, not adding like 10 or 20%, but multiplying the levels by 100, 200, 300% of these critical compounds versus what you're getting in your diet.
Andrew, as always, it's a joy to spend time with you today, but no